Alright, welcome back to Unscripted, and if you're new here, you picked a hell of an episode to jump into. This one, nothing, and I mean nothing was planned. We sat down for one conversation and somehow ended up talking about wealth, fame, fortune, and a bunch of brutal tangents we definitely didn't expect. That's the whole vibe though. Real, raw, and completely unfiltered. Before we dive in, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because trust me, you're gonna want more episodes like this, and there's more coming in the future. Alright. Let's get into it.
But yeah, in conversations with a lot of people, most of the time we come to the conclusion that the capitalist society and the capitalist approach of, profit-based society ends up ruining a lot of the good things that we have in our modern day. And one idea that I've always had for a way to kind of correct that biased in the way that we run everything is to cap both either like a land size cap, so you can only own so much land as a single person or a company, and having a monetary cap. So once you get past $1 billion, say, all of your money that you earn then goes to schools, roads, government, just improving the society that you're in, And then, you can also put that towards, say, low-income homes for subsidies and support in those kind of areas. And the billionaire's not really going to lose out because they could spend $1 million every single week and still have money when they die,
So essentially what you're saying is having a cap on how much money you can earn. Is that as a sole earner or a
business earner? How much you can have is like your net worth.
What about how much can a business be worth?
Well, we'd have to talk about and, develop an actual logistics behind it. But I think that is a really good way to stop this, the top 99% of the world's wealth is in the top 1%. You've got so many billionaires that can't spend all their money. What are they going to... They could keep spending and buying whatever they could in their lifetime and they'd still never get rid of it.
Yeah. I think money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, but that's we can still have this capitalist system that is why we have so much modern advancement, because we have all this money going into those technologies because that's what brings in more capital later on. Without the system we have, we wouldn't have all these modern advancements and things like that. But there is a limit
to that would be.
Even if $1 billion's not it, even if it's 10 billion, or something bigger, there still should be a limit. Because how much has Bill Gates got now? I think at one point he had $1 trillion.
$289 billion.
It's gone up and down. But they said he could get rid of 99% of his wealth and he'd still be a billionaire.
Yeah.
And you have people like that in a society where you've got.
But then you've got to think that's probably his personal wealth, not factoring in his business wealth.
Yeah. But having a cap that any one person can own and any entity can own and ones they're associated to as well. It'd be quite a complicated framework, and there'd be a lot of more in-depth thought and statistics to do with it.
You'd feel locked up. You wouldn't feel free, and I think
as in a billionaire wouldn't feel free, or?
I mean, it would be nice to have $1 billion, but realistically, would you not want to see how far you can get with it to be able to say? Because if you want to build a rocket ship, how much does it cost to build a rocket ship, then pay for that gas to go to and from Elon Musk?
Yeah, but that's when my response to that would be having, say, an organisation then becomes a different entity. So instead of having one person owning 10 businesses and trying to give each of those businesses $1 billion, say, so that they're under the cap, then it all get tied back to that one person. So it's 10 billion, say, if they have 10 businesses at $1 million. But if you have 10 people in those businesses, then it's $1 billion each still. Yeah. So it means it's spreading it out to more people, and more of us get the opportunity to go forward and ahead and get to those places without the struggle that it is now, where if you're in a very, very low income household and get brought up in that, it is extremely difficult to get out of that. I mean, social media and influencing and all that kind of stuff has brought more ways for people to get up there, but it is still such a limited amount of people in the grand scheme of things that actually get somewhere.
It is, and I think it's always been like that as well, though.
It has in ways, but in our society, I think
only
it's
getting worse.
gotten a lot more extreme in the
I feel
highs
like,
and lows of society, and especially since we have this amount of people now as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I believe that the fact that there's so much more people in this world, and the fact that we can actually have access to the people in this world via
Yeah, the
internet,
communication and
like
everything like that as
communication's
well.
gone up, and then we can actually see who the wealthy people are in the world. We never used to be able to, but now we can. And people are wanting to live lifestyles that they can't afford. They keep on putting themselves into debt. And like you said before, it's hard to get out of that lifestyle because that's all you've seen. You want to
Yeah, well,
see people
that's
keep
one thing
going.
as well, is people need to stop, in my opinion, looking at all of these outside influences and going, I want that life. I think that's a bit too distracting from...
Like, it's good to have goals, definitely. It's good
Like-
to have goals and dreams, but if you're not actually pushing yourself to go for those goals and dreams, and you're saying that you really think this is the best thing for me and I want to eventually go to Dubai and live there, and if you're not actually saving money to build your own network of people or whatever, just so you can actually go there and then be able to do the things that you want to do, like realistically, not many people have that framework in their head where they can actually go out and then go do that thing. All they want to do is socialize, be with their friends, go shopping.
But even if you do have that mindset, like here's three of us wanting to be entrepreneurs, trying to start new
We are
businesses and different
entrepreneurs.
ideas and things like that, doing this podcast, all those kind of things. And yet it's been 7 years I've been doing that kind of stuff now,
Yeah.
getting into different kinds of investments or just working super hard and long hours and trying to save and all that kind of stuff. And I'm still scraping the bottom of the barrel and almost going bankrupt at the moment. So you can do all the right things in that kind of sense and still get nowhere in the way today's society is functions. And because of that unequal wage gap, you know, I know tons of people who own businesses and can do that kind of thing, but it's because they come from money and they have the capital to go into it and the family support behind them.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that if you don't have family with money, and there's nothing to help the lower income people get into those. So I had a business plan, you know, 5-year financial mapping, and went to the bank for a loan. But because I had no capital behind me, nothing that the bank could take off me if things didn't go well, there was no chance at all that I could get a loan. And yet I did all the planning, I did all the work, I had the physical evidence and stock and assets and that kind of thing, and yet it still didn't matter.
No.
So,
They
yeah,
need to actually see the income coming in rather than having, like, you can have all that stuff and that's what the bank's going to see. But
I think
just
the
want to see
major
that money
way
coming
to
in. And
take that out, though, and to equal the wealth in the world and the opportunity, is to have that cap. So that you can't have one person with 20 rental properties. I mean, I know there's a necessity for rental properties. Not everyone can afford or wants to own a home.
Yeah, but if you're able to divvy that
But
up,
there's no
then-
chance now because of the big boom in the 1900s of all of these people buying houses, renting them to pay off that mortgage, and then just buying another house and buying another one, and then using that equity to buy, and then you
Yes,
get people now
and
with
land banking a little bit too.
20 to 30 rentals, if not more in some places, and a lot of those are overseas people as well, and then we're paying their mortgage, and they're getting everything
They
out of it.
probably, most people are probably just paying their rates. Like if you're thinking about the large people that are like 50, 30 to 80 houses, they probably have like 10 of those on mortgage and all the other ones are paid off.
Yeah, but they're taking from lower income people and boosting their own portfolio.
Yeah.
But it's all normally because those low income people don't have the deposit for the house.
No.
They can pay the rent, but because they don't have the deposit, the bank won't look at them.
See,
And so if you have more like property caps and stuff like that, and wage caps and all that other money goes into funding so that low income people can get houses because the banks aren't as worried about deposits and all that because there's this government money or money from billionaires,
see,
being put towards all these other different things to help everyone, not just You know, everyone's on this big fucking race to get to Mars. But how much is that Mars ticket going to cost?
Oh, it'll cost
you know,
a fair amount.
It's not
And
going to be in our
realistically, it's not
lifetimes
gonna
at
be
least.
any
Everyone
people-
thinks it is.
Like
but
the people that are going to go there are first going to be the scientists, the people that actually can build a civilization, the people that are going there, they're going to get paid to go there. They're not going to have any time to build a life with their family because there's no breathable oxygen, so they have to put in oxygen generators over there.
yeah, well, there's just so many
There's so
things,
much
and it's
work
like
that
even
needs
the
to be
moon.
done.
Everyone talks about when we're going to go to the moon next, and it's like the only reason we ever went to the moon
Let's just say we did.
was, it was just the US beating Russia to get there. And even then, there's still, conspiracy theories about whether we even got there, let alone getting to Mars and having a livable society and the cost and the society that is created there as well. Everyone's kind of, and all these billionaires are going, oh, this is why we have so much money, because we're building rockets to promote the human race and go take over other planets. And it's like, we could use all those billions to just protect this planet. It's like, was it one of you guys? No, it was our mate, one of our mates, Jack, last night was talking to me about this group of guys who, it was kind of like a think tank on saving the world. And they worked out that when volcanoes erupted high enough, the sulfur that they added to the atmosphere actually cooled it. So apparently scientists noticed this back in the 70s and actually went, oh no, the world's cooling down, we're going back into an ice age kind of thing. But then they figured it was this. So apparently it had cost 50 million to put essentially a pipe pumping sulfur into the top of our atmosphere. Apparently it has to be in like Antarctica or the Arctic Circle because it's closer to that level of atmosphere. And then you just pump sulfur and you can adjust it. So you put a bit more sulfur in, it cools the earth a little bit more. You take a little bit off,
smelly,
you
man.
put a bit more.
Really fucking smelly.
Fascinating.
Not necessarily, it's
Really
going way
interesting.
up into our atmosphere.
Yeah, but then eventually it'll come into the breathable air. That'd be smelly.
Yeah, it takes a lot of sulfur to...
So New Zealand's
To
good because we
register.
got the.
It's not
we
like
got
it'll
we
be
got the
right
smelly-
away
we got
everywhere.
the smelly hot balls. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. We're not going to worry about climate control.
But, so apparently there's things like that can be built to save this planet. So why are all of these billionaires going for, space travel and pretty much writing off Earth and continuing along?
I really think it's like space exploration is a huge thing because there's so much out there that we haven't discovered, and as I believe as humans, I think that we have this urge inside of us just to go further and beyond, and then be able to expand our knowledge so we can create.
I get the
things that-
exploration and the curiosity side
Yeah.
of it, but like taking over other planets to live and stuff like that, I just don't
it's
see
just-
that as like I understand spending money on exploration. You might find new elements that help us here and different things like that, but
Yeah, but I think it's expanding because essentially, soon enough, there's going to be too many people on planet Earth. And then we're not going to have enough places to put the waste, the excrement. The planet will go broke. It won't have enough resources to break down all of the stuff that we're going to keep on creating.
do you want to know my kind of brutal take on that kind of situation?
What?
Well, what do we do for every other kind of animal on the planet?
Just kill them.
No, we choose the genetic traits that we want to continue in future generations and we breed the best so that we continue to get the best. Whereas right now we're kind of stuck in a, for lack of another words, a soft society where we think that every life is precious and everyone should be saved and all of this kind of stuff, when I kind of see it as a lot of people who are very severely disabled and, have big ailments and stuff like that, a lot of the time, like they still feel happiness and emotion and thought and all of those kind of things, but they do not have quality of life, in my opinion. If
What do
you
think,
cannot,
Fabian?
Oh, far out. This is
Awfully
the
quiet
time
over there.
to
but
jump
then you
in
get
the
it from a
conversation.
genetic side as well, is that if we did, like it is a very dark tack, but if we were to stop or selectively breed humans
Yeah, but
for the characteristics that we
I
want,
feel like
then
that's
we'd...
what they're doing with the stem cell research, aren't they? So like selectively put traits in
Kind of,
the
but then that
babies
can go
and
the complete opposite way as well.
But that's the only way you can do it, is by experimentation. But then they've got this whole clause against experimenting on humans and animals.
Yep. We never ever learnt more about ourselves or advanced as much as
How
when
did we
Hitler
find out that
was in
fucking
control.
fire
Because
fucking
Hitler
hurt us
did
when
not
we
care
touched it?
about people and would experiment.
If you guys
on
want to
them
volunteer
and
for some
technology
experiments,
and-
you're welcome to.
But
I
no,
think
what I'm saying, like, how did we find out that fire hurts? We touched it. Human trial and error, right? It's an
you're
experimentation.
very welcome to go do those trials.
No, because we've already found that much out. You find it out as a kid, right?
When it comes to these types of questions, I like to sit on sort of the fence of, enabling people's free will. Because
That
maybe
plays into like the capitalist society as well, because the only people who would sign themselves up for genetic experimentation are low-income people who have no other choice in their eyes but to get money through that way.
that's a fair point, Chad.
It's the same as testing pharmaceuticals over in the US, say, and you get
then the
paid
rich
for
will
it. They
put
only
it
go
into
for the
cosmetics.
low-income people. You don't get some millionaire going in and testing pharmaceuticals or anything like that.
Maybe like jury duty, you would have trial duty. Oh, that sounds horrible. Let's not do that. That sounds terrible. Oh no, Dylan's on trial duty for this new pharmacy drug next
Why
week.
not?
That sounds terrible. Let's not do that.
It is
My
a
family
dark
gets
tape,
paid
but
if,
if
you
we
know,
are looking at
My family will get paid if I die, so it's all
That
good.
sounds terrible.
if
Your
we're
average
looking at
low-income earner,
like
you know,
our
my family gets
society
paid,
and
bro.
life on Earth in the 1,000 years time frame,
Sorry
you
if
know,
I'm
it
moving
kind
so
of would
much.
be a good idea, I reckon, to selectively breed for, because so many people have arthritis or knee problems or no cartilage or MS and a lot of those things are genetic.
I guess
So I understand like gene editing is what's wanted to remove those things, but
Why don't you
know,
just
I-
give
it is
everyone
kind of
cybernetic-
unfair and a kind of dystopian
Why wouldn't you just give everyone
society future.
cybernetics?
But
no, I guess
What's
like
wrong with cybernetics,
maybe an approach to that sort of exploration could be giving people. Are you right there, Dylan?
man? I see it sometimes, bro.
Oh, right. Could be to allow, or facilitate a community around that so that it's not forced upon anyone, but it's more so,
glory veil that shit.
having the opportunity to understand your genetics and your traits and those different conditions and heritage and stuff.
Yeah, like I don't think anything is superior, but I do think that our continued support in everyone is the same essentially. It's like it's good in ways, but it's kind of stupid in others because we're not the same. We all have different strengths and
Alright, so I
weaknesses.
got a take
and-
on this, man. Hear me out. Hold on, let me finish my mouth first. It's pretty rude.
Yeah, come on, man. We teach our children this shit. Don't eat with your mouth full.
So, an advanced civilization comes to Earth. They don't want nothing to do with us because we're not perfect.
I don't know if that's the reason, but okay.
It depends on what conspiracies you believe.
But this is the take. So, from what you were saying, if we're doing genetic testing, modification, blah, 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 getting the perfect, well, not ideal, like the ideal human. The human that has strength, the human that has a strong body, a strong mind. In their head, would that advanced civilization then think that these humans are stupid for just not letting themselves evolve naturally?
It depends.
Because realistically, evolution.
I've got a good story for this actually.
Okay.
So
Depends on the nature-nurture argument as well.
this reminds me of that Russian scientist who
Yakolov?
I don't know the name, but
I made that up.
I think it was in the 60s, 70s. I don't know, somewhere around that time. They did a multi-decade process of selective breeding with a fox species, where they bred the foxes together and they selected the next group and so on and so forth based on traits of friendliness, which could mean the one that tried to bite your hand the least. And eventually they developed the phenotype expressions of droopy ears and wagging tails and spotted coats and more juvenile features with rounded faces. And that took, I think, 9 generations or something like that. And so you can get these really like quick
Well, that's how we get
transformations.
a lot of our unique dogs. Most of them have been bred specifically for looks or purpose.
Like pedigree
Yeah.
cats,
And-
yes. Yeah.
Well, not only that, like you
Humans
get
take
your
longer to
little
mature.
squish. I can't forget their names, but you get your little
Pug
squishbone
dogs.
dogs. Not
Bulldogs.
quite pugs are what I'm talking about, but those kind of breeds anyway. They're all kind of similar. They've
Bulldogs,
all
Maltese,
literally been
Shih
bred
Tzus.
because they look cute and they want a short nose. They don't care that the dog's got bad breathing problems and health problems and arthritis and all these other things. It's like sausage dogs, dachshunds. They were long-legged, taller, longer
really?
and all this kind of stuff.
Oh,
And
wow.
they've been bred selectively to go to these little short-legged things with lots of health problems and stuff like that. So I'm like,
If I
why
put
don't
the
we
tailgate
do
up, will these be stronger?
similar but opposite for humans and instead go for better cats than,
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
But then that's kind of, really unfair to a lot of the population who would fall under the, ailment category. Like even I probably wouldn't be fit under my own,
with the heart, sort of stuff.
definition. Yeah, I've got heart issues, I've got mental health things that I've been through, and that would be considered a not ideal traits.
See, I guess that the
I mean, it depends what
fascinating,
you look at. But
yeah, the fascinating thing about some of that is like
just wait for the noise to calm down.
with like, for
you go.
example, let's say the mental health type
Oh,
traits.
much better.
Like as much as they appear to be, what would we say,
Sorry.
like maladaptive or something like that, they're actually healthy signals and signs too. It's just responses to things that weren't ideal or easy.
Yeah,
right?
but if you go to the extreme on that idea, there would be very, very select people in the world that would follow that, and then you'd get to the point of like inbreeding that would screw up the genetics again to
I think, a part of that might be one of the shortcomings is that if you go for this very narrow bandwidth of, let's say, simple and clean, clear-cut traits and so on and so forth that doesn't have those quirks to it, let's say, you might end up with a populace that really lacks grit and perseverance and the ability to overcome and resourcefulness.
But
and
what
those
if
types
that's one of the
too.
traits you're going for?
If that's one of the traits you're going for, I feel like, then yourself.
Like, that's what I
kind of
mean. Then,
fits
then
into
to
it, right?
to go through with this plan, we then have to all agree on what the ideal human is,
So-
and what traits are good, what traits are bad, what we're willing to
Which there probably wouldn't be an agreement on, would there?
use, and well, who knows?
'Cause
Like,
some
that's one
people-
thing I was going to bring up when Dylan was talking about communication. Is that the bad thing about communication is that we mostly use it to dream about someone else's life and go from their perspective, or we want that, instead of using it more as a communal based
Due the
thing to
social
actually
media, right?
help each other out. We've kind of segregated everyone into this is your country, this is that country, this is this country. It all used to just be land, and whoever conquered it first, it suddenly became theirs. But
And then they have to,
we
they have
all
to fight.
essentially, if you look back enough, there's been like 7 or 8 documented times where the human population, or estimated times, not really documented, that the Earth's population has gone under 1,000 people.
That's wild.
So when you look back far enough, all of us come from the same
Community.
No, I'm an alien,
same
bro.
place.
I'm an illegal alien.
I mean,
But yeah, it is a good point though, because if you go for those, say you want, tons of progressive people that are strong and
mean,
fit and with no defects,
here's-
and all of this
it's-
kind of
it's a-
stuff, you lose the uniqueness that is part of humanity.
funny enough, like, I guess a different take on it, and this comes from just, an appreciation for iterations from a design perspective. Diversity is actually a really important thing. And,
It is.
and so even though there's obviously suffering that comes as the result of diversity, right, with some of those traits and conditions that aren't actually healthy and helpful, there's also unknown strengths that come out of it, like that man who could eat a plane and can literally digest metal.
Yeah,
he literally
yeah,
had
yeah.
the
And
ability to do so, and
that's
so
all he had eaten.
he
he
had a
got
But did
dying
you hear of
fixation.
that 70-year-old? Oh,
How?
I can't remember if he was
understand how you'd
Indian.
eat metal.
he just had really powerful digestive
No,
acids.
like chill it.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's the
I mean,
that's
I could try.
that's
but
one of
I
the
don't know
things
if I
that
can hurt my teeth.
I think, in terms of, and this comes also back to that perspective around capitalism as well. And I'm not saying it's a hard line, but there is kind of this balance of like natural phenomena where you get these distributions where like things will distribute in that 80-20 sort of way. Or, you hear what I mean by that, right? Where like there's that inverse relationship of control or power or resources, and it works with city populations, it works with rivers and the flow of water and all sorts of different things, which is, it's a principle of mathematics in some ways, which doesn't mean there's an excuse of we should just not do anything. I'm not saying that.
Have you heard of the studies they did on rats where they built
the
their own
little rat city?
perfect world?
Yes, and then the cocaine addictions, and they didn't want to take part of it.
No drugs involved.
This is
There was another experiment when they did do that.
So this was, I don't know, a while ago.
Good old Rat Park, right?
They did 25 identical tests in this way, and they all ended up the same. So they put, I don't know how many rats in what kind of area, but they essentially built a city for them.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them all the food, all the water, everything they could ever want, entertainment, stuff to do, all that kind of stuff. Everything worked well until the rats hit a certain population, which was 600 in this certain area.
Oh, okay.
And then even though they had all the food, all the everything they would want, they split into class systems.
Really?
And there were dominant ones that were attacking younger ones for food. Mothers were killing their sons. Males got very aggressive and all of this kind of stuff. All in a world where they had food, they had water, they had everything. Yeah, and over time,
did they have space?
These little rat societies collapsed in on themselves and turned to cannibalism and all of these like weird mental disorders.
That's really interesting.
And this kind of stuff. Wow. They did it 25 times, and each time they killed themselves with abundance. And so
do you know what the weird thing?
Wow.
The weird thing about that, rats do that anyway. They do that in their own ecosystem. If there's too many rats in one area, and there's an abundance of resources, they will then start eating.
From what I read, this was like annihilation. Like not one rat was left at the end, kind of thing.
What?
Yeah, they definitely do that.
What?
Because you have an alpha rat that will be. So you got your normal rats, right? Just for reference, this is my job. So I love rats. Okay, I kill rats, but I love them.
He understands them.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to word it.
I understand them, but I kill them. You can get a rat like this big, right? And then you can get a rat this big. That rat there has been around for a while. And that is the alpha rat. And there's probably, he's the hierarchy of that pack. And he's probably had over 2,500 pups in his lifetime. And that's only 6 years.
Whoa, rats are...
They
wow.
have a
Like
litter.
quickly.
They have a litter every 6 to 8 weeks, and they can have between 8 and 12 pups in one litter.
So why aren't we farming rats for meat? In like, certain countries.
China does.
I guess they wouldn't live in those countries. They'd all be eaten already.
I don't know if rats are healthy as well.
They are. They taste like pig.
I mean healthy as in disease.
But okay, so we've got all these. One thought I had when you were talking about that was, so we've got all these old, like the pyramids and tons of different lost civilizations that we've now uncovered. The Mayan temples and empires, and you kind of find these little, very ancient sites all over the world that we can't explain. So do you think that's happened to us in the past, where we've got into a size and been so abundant and everything's been so well that we've kind of either destroyed ourselves or the Earth's destroyed us because we've got into...
I feel we would have been destroyed by Mother Nature. That's realistically...
Does that include like asteroids or just like extreme weather events?
That's part of Mother Nature, isn't it? Or is that like nature of another planet?
Father Cosmos.
Father Cosmos. There you go. Mother Nature, Father Cosmos. Perfect. Well, yeah, I think there's something like along the lines of that. We had a civilization, and then all of a sudden they just vanished, and we never found them again, because they were there so long ago. Mother Nature has pushed all this dirt around, put it on top, weather, tornadoes, swamps, tsunamis.
I mean,
And then shit's just like shifted.
What if we're just a big
around.
farm, but we're unsure of like what
It's
or
like you're
who's
in a
actually
Matrix,
being
man.
Oh
farmed?
dear, there's a
Are we
lot in
going
that.
to the
Well,
Matrix
all of these
context already?
old civilizations and societies, in most of them, you can find images and depictions of a UFO, essentially, a flying saucer, a golden light, coming down and giving them all this information.
Oh, I
Generally,
So,
I don't see why not.
when we
They
get to a
probably
certain point,
created
do
money.
they kind of like harvest the planet,
They probably
leave enough to
created
start
money.
again, give us a little bit of information, and then off,
when you
Yeah, but don't.
Well, our population seemed to kind of, rise, but be semi-consistent, and then we got the microchip, which, if you didn't know, like the microchip and the technology that came from that, which is most of the technology we have today, was invented overnight.
invented overnight.
Yeah.
Nothing's invented overnight though.
Yeah,
Well, sometimes yes,
an idea is probably long thought beforehand. Then
but
the
most of our
invention
technology
can
comes
be
from that
finished overnight.
first microchip.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if it was an actual microchip, but the technology that we now use in everything today came from an overnight
It's like effluent systems where
idea. So was that actually a overnight or a lengthy process that was thought out, or was it given to him and suddenly that's gone and boosted everything that we're no longer struggling for
don't think
food,
the
we no
bird
longer
agrees with
have
us,
famine and disease and all of that kind of stuff, and kind of all of that's thanks to technology.
Yeah, I really think that there was this. Have you ever heard of the theory where, like, I know it's just a theory and Transformers aren't real, but they found this ancient robotic alien in Antarctica, and then they uncovered it in like the 1930s because they were doing the sea exploration, and then they went to Antarctica, found this, then all of a sudden, technology just started skyrocketing. It just went completely haywire because they found this huge machine that had all of these intricate circuits. They're like, what is this?
Sorry, is this the fictional?
I haven't
story?
heard of that, but that
Like,
could
this
be
is
how we came across this
is a
technology
theory
as
that
well.
How people think that we actually advanced in civilization in the 1940s. It wasn't because people needed shit for the war. Like, people were out exploring and then they found something that was from a different...
Have you heard of that pulse? Apparently there's a pulse underneath Antarctica that they can like measure these pulses coming from something, and apparently it connects, like, this timing is exactly like a comet that we're tracking, and it's putting off these pulses as well, and then there's this, they think, like, potentially hidden technology under the ice that's kind of pulsing and drawing it or connected with it in some way because they're identical.
pushing it away.
Yeah,
Like that spaceship.
not
that's
sure,
supposed to
but
be
it was
coming
like
to
a little
the
conspiracy
Oh yeah,
theorist
wasn't that meant to
article.
happen like yesterday or something?
world. No, in 7 days.
Oh right.
What's going to happen?
The spaceship that's supposed to be coming to Earth in 7 days.
Oh, to like say hello or
I don't know.
Apparently next
take
week,
over?
Apparently
Or...
there was a huge floating rock going past Jupiter.
It's like the
and all
fucking
of a
blood
sudden it was
moons.
coming into
How
Earth's
many
orbit. I was
once
like,
in 1,000-year blood moons have you guys witnessed?
one.
I've been through about 6 now. It's like every year they're like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. No one's ever going to see this again, and then
Yeah,
it
but you
happens
have
again.
to think about geographically where you are.
I guess, but
That's how you have to think of it. Like in New Zealand, we're at the.
It might be just clickbait. I don't know.
I genuinely think, like, because they got that information from back in the day, like type day, and then they don't know how to transcribe, so everyone probably just couldn't actually pass the information correctly, like Chinese whispers.
I don't know if we're getting our blood moon cycles from ancient texts. Probably more astrology, right?
probably.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think we're
the
relying.
term blood moon, when was that invented?
When they noticed it was red.
Yeah, they were blood rock, blood rock, color, crimson, blah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then it just got passed on, and then all of a sudden we became astrologists, and then physicists, and we're like, no, it's actually the curvature rotation of this and that just going around this, and you actually get it every 366 days, and like 24 hours and 13 seconds, and 12 minutes. and then 667 nanoseconds. You know. So we went from going like, it's a rock, it's red. No, that's a moon. What's a moon? That's a moon.
Are we just the same now, though?
I mean,
Especially with the English language?
You're looking at me, mate.
Like, well, what is a word? But
Caveman there is.
thoughts and processes we put into it. Like, how many times does someone turn around to you and go, explain this word?
Huh?
Relatively often.
And you just can't put what you know of that word into actual, like,
What does
a
transcribe mean?
sentence. You see, I understand it, but I cannot vocally do it because most of our language is not this means that.
Well-
It is, you've been around people who have associated this word with these kind of things.
It depends on
so
what
it's like
your
a
diction
tree.
is, right?
I mean, yeah, transcribe, transition, scribe, so taking one text format into another or changing.
I was just following with what he was saying.
Oh, right, you didn't
Just that-
actually
No, but
mean
it's
it.
like a tree.
That, like, I don't-
Describe a tree.
A tree.
What type of tree?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we put treeness to a whole range of different things.
Yeah.
But if you're asked to describe a tree, you can say it's got roots and a trunk and leaves and blah, blah, blah. But then so many other things have the same thing. A bush, a different. But we all kind of know this treeness, you know?
Yeah.
We know what a tree
Like,
is.
this is a tree.
But
I'm not a tree.
there's so many different kinds of trees and types
There's
of
like
trees that
3
there's no
different trees right
actual
there.
way to perfectly describe what tree means because it's inferred on so many different things. We just get brought up knowing that all these things are considered trees.
Realistically, a bush is a tree. It's a small tree.
Yeah, it depends. You see, it's what you associate with
Oh,
it.
dear.
So we associate bushes with different things to trees, different things to,
So
a weed, different things to other things.
Every
So
single
the actual, like,
plant is a tree.
you know,
except
us
for a
seeing the
brassicas.
moon going, that's whatever, it's kind of irrelevant because of how we actually use language.
And that's us for this episode of Unscripted. One conversation, way too many tangents, and honestly, none of it was planned. Just pure chaos from start to finish. Quick heads up. 2. There were a few parts of the conversation that didn't make the final cut. We had some background noise come through that would have wrecked the audio. So rather than force it, we cut those sections out. Trust me, your ears will thank us. If you enjoyed the madness that did make it in, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate every one of you. Catch you in the next episode. Stay unscripted.